Hey everybody, it's Steph from the Hot Moving Podcast. Bronny James is going to be in the draft. Okay, that has been the biggest talk, one of the biggest stories of sports this week. He decides to leave USC and the draft. A lot of questions on, he only averaged 5 points. He's only going to the NBA because he feels pressure from his dad. And it seems like a lot of people are speaking for Bronny. He's a young man. He's 18, 19 years old. Okay, like if he wants to go to the NBA, albeit test your shot, right? And, look, there's been plenty of cases where you may not have been as successful in college, but your game just may translate better to the NBA, okay? And this brings me to Rashad McCants on Gil's Arenas podcast. A lot of times, man, it just seemed like he's just there to argue, just to argue. I rarely agree with his points on there. He gets very emotional, talks matter of fact, just outlier. Maybe that's by design, but when he's talking about Bronny James, this has to be one of the most, for me, okay, the oddest take about Bronny James electing to go to the draft. I'm gonna play a clip and we're gonna get back to the conversation.
When my second year in college, I could have came out, get top 10. I could have been top 15. I averaged 20.
You would have been.
So I said to my advisor, who was William Wesley, I do not want to be another player that's out. I want to be top 3. You got to go back to school, Shad, and win a championship and make it undeniable. I had to make a decision. What kind of player do I want to be? Do I want to be a player amongst all these other players who can mix me up and have me just be another Johnny Juzang or Stephen Hunter? Or do I want to be elite? I want to be elite. I have a bigger standard for Bronny, not just because of his dad, because of his ability and his potential. Don't waste that just based on you trying to rush into this situation because everybody wants you to be there. You can hone your skills, you can get better as a player, and you can dominate in college. And you can have your college career be dominant enough to say, if I don't even make it in the NBA, I can look back and be like, yo, my college career was elite. My college career was elite.
So Rashad's point makes no sense to me. Okay, he brings up his situation saying that after his second year, he decides to stay. Okay, because he wants to be a top 3 player. He felt he was a top 3. So his advisors told him to go back and to college and win a championship so you can be a top 3. He ends up being drafted, 14th overall in 2005. So that didn't work. Okay, he had a pretty short career in the NBA. Hey, kudos to making it to the league. Oh, it never easy. Okay, he played 4 years in the league or something like that. Wonderful. But his reasoning is that Bronny James should stay in school so he can become, if it doesn't work out in the NBA, he can look back on his college career and be like, well, I had an elite college career. What? I mean, I don't know of any player who can say that, right? And is proud of that. Cool, you were proud of having an elite college career, a great college career, but I'm sure they would have loved to have an even better NBA career. And for Bronny James, like the way I view it is, look, the way he started this season, he had the heart attack, couldn't really play. He eventually started getting some minutes and everything. And just from what I've seen, and when the clips in college and some of the clips now we've seen in the combine, it's like, yo, like you can tell he has some game, right? I'm not saying he's this, going to be this elite talent coming into the league, but I mean, he's 6 feet and 6'1", 6'2". Okay, he has a pretty decent frame. Okay, he could be a decent guard, a 3-and-D type of guard, combo guard, So, and the way I view Bronny James is like I think his game will translate better in the NBA as opposed to in college, right? And everybody Jennings and Gil, they were just saying like, it might be better for him to be in the draft and be around other prospects, and get better that way. Being in the G League, getting better that way, as opposed to going to college just to run your numbers up in the hopes that you can be drafted higher. This year's draft is looking pretty weak, right? As of now, we don't know what these players could turn out. We could look back and say that maybe this is probably one of the greatest drafts ever, but as of now, the consensus is that it's just not as strong compared to previous NBA drafts. So it's almost better even for Bronny to come into a draft where it's already weak to get drafted, right? And then why would he elect to stay in college to get his numbers up in hopes of getting drafted higher. And then most likely you're going to be on a pretty bad team and there's even more pressure, right, to perform. Okay, not that Bronny James is not going to have pressure to come into the league already just because of his dad's name. But it won't be as magnified. I think a lot of people understand, like, look, he's not his dad. No one is going to be LeBron James, okay? That's going to be very hard to do for any player, even the top players in this draft that are considered to be a top prospect to come in and do, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, okay? LeBron James is a once-in-a-generation lifetime type of talent. We all know that, right? But for Bronny James, though, and to come into this year, this is the best spot. You know, next year's draft could be much better. It could be harder. Bronny James could get injured in college. He may not be able to play in college due to an injury or something like that, and he gets set back even more, where right now he's healthy, he's doing the combine and everything. The best opportunity, it seemed like, is for him to enter the draft in a weak draft already. So Rashad talking about wanting to, you know, go back to school and be elite in college makes no sense to me, man. So it sounds like, again, arguing just to argue. Y'all let me know what y'all think of Rashad's comments. Do you think Bronny should go back to school? I don't think he should have. I don't have a problem with him not going back to school. He can still make that decision in a couple weeks. But him coming now, just going through the NBA drills and the combine and everything, and if he's feeling confident to want to stay in the draft, I got no problem with it, right? We could be looking back years from now and be like, yo, that was a good pick. Bronny James, is he not? He may not be some super great NBA player, but he's a really good rotational player. You know, he's contributing to a team, right? And that's all you can ask for. And then the rest, we can find out if he evolves into a really good player, right? So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts. Please like, subscribe. Appreciate y'all a lot. And I'm out.